What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Outdoor Chef Life. I'm Taku, and today I'm going to teach you how to make the best sushi rice. And this is going to be a very detailed and thorough video about making rice. Usually when I make sushi rice, you guys see me make it. It's very simple and easy, but this is how I would make it if I'm making it in a restaurant. And it's very detailed, a lot more technique oriented. So follow along and let's make some sushi rice. True story, I've actually had a guy quit on me while I was teaching him how to make sushi rice in a restaurant, and he quit on me because he was too complicated for him to make the sushi rice. Like, true story. So this is it, all right? So the most important thing that you'll need for sushi rice is short grain rice, and you want to choose the premium short grain rice. This is koshihikari that I'm using today. You also need the sushi vinegar that we made. If you didn't see that video, make sure to go check it out. I just made it yesterday. You'll also need a nice heavy bottom pot. You want to pick something that's got some weight to it, okay? At least on the bottom. And you can use a ceramic pot, you can use a stainless pot, as long as it has a nice thick bottom. And the last thing you'll need is this right here. This is called a sushi oke. And this is to mix the rice and vinegar together. You want this because you need a big surface area to spread the rice, because the rice will need to cool down quickly. Most of the things that you'll need, I'll try to find them and leave them in the description below, okay? So you can check that out if you want to see the links for these. Okay, I'm gonna make 400 grams of sushi rice today. All right, there you go, 400 grams. Rice to water ratio for cooking rice is going to be 10 to 9. All right, so I'm doing 400 grams of rice. So we're going to take 90% of that weight and that's going to be the water. That's 360 milliliters of water that we're going to use. All right, so while we get everything ready, I'm going to soak a little piece of kombu just to flavor the water a bit. And we'll just soak that while we do everything else, okay? Now we're going to wash the rice. Start with the strainer and a mixing bowl. Dump all that rice in there. Using cold water, we're going to wash the rice to remove the starch, because that's what makes the rice sticky. Make sure you're not being too aggressive with the rice, or else you'll end up breaking the rice grains, which will cause more starch to come out of the rice, and that'll make the rice too sticky. I'm doing this process as quick as I can because you don't want any of the water to be absorbed by the rice at this point. I'm using the strainer to completely remove that starchy water in this first step. And I'm going to repeat this step 6 to 7 times. Yeah, 6 to 7 times. Seems like a lot, but that's what we need to do in order to remove all of that sticky starch. After 7 times, you can kind of see that there's still a slight murkiness in the water, and that's okay because we're not done. So I'm going to dump all that water, and I'm actually going to transfer all of the rice straight into the mixing bowl. And at this step, I'm going to do the same thing again, but all I'm doing is filling it with water and rinsing the rice just for about 5 seconds. And I'm going to remove the water. In this process, we're more focused on removing the impurities inside the rice. There are broken grains and some hollow rice grains, or just some simple impurities that are in there because rice doesn't come perfect. So we need to remove all of that, because all of that stuff causes extra starch, and that's what we don't want. You see, like this one right here, you see this broken rice grain, and that's what we are removing right now. And we'll also be able to wash a little bit more as well. And this process I'm going to do 6 to 7 times as well. After all the washing is done, I'm going to transfer the rice back into the strainer, and now we're going to let that dry. And now that we washed the rice, we're going to let that dry for 10 minutes. So I let the rice dry for 10 minutes, and now I see it's completely dry. I have my water. Let me just take the kombu out. Now we'll add the water. You should just barely cover the top. Just sort of straighten it out, level it out. Now we have to let this soak for 10 minutes, then we're gonna turn the heat on. So I was saying earlier, to since I got a little time right now. When you start working in a restaurant, one of the first things you learn is how to make sushi rice, or at least in a sushi restaurant. And so yeah, I learned that first, and then all the new guys that come in, I teach them how to make rice. And one of them, man, he literally like straight up just left because I was teaching him how to make rice, and it was like so many steps, right? Like you've seen today, like what we've already done just for rice. There's so many steps to it that he was like, no, it's too much. So he just walked out and quit. Literally, a true story. This technique is not for everybody. But like I said, if I'm making the best rice, if I'm making the sushi rice for the restaurant, this is how I would do it. But normally, if I'm doing it at my house, you've seen how I do it in the videos. Really easy, simple, no waiting. Just wash a few times and cook the rice, mix the rice vinegar in. That's it. But this is the way you do it in the restaurant. We're gonna go high heat for 10 minutes, then we're gonna go simmer for 10 minutes. We're gonna let it rest for 10 minutes. Hey Siri, set timer for 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes and counting.
I didn't realize how much of a gap there was in the lid, so I'm just covering that with a piece of foil. After the initial 10 minutes on high heat, turn it down to a very small simmer. Then wait another 10 minutes. Alright, that's it guys, it's done. Alright, now the fire is completely off. I'm just gonna leave this sitting for 10 minutes, and then we'll mix the vinegar into the rice. If I put the rice straight in here, it's gonna stick. So I'm gonna put water in here, just like that. And we're gonna get the water everywhere, on the paddle too. Let the wood absorb the water. The ratio of sushi vinegar to the rice is gonna be 3 parts rice and 1 part sushi vinegar. So we did 400 grams of uncooked rice. Now I'm gonna need a third of that. 400 times 0.33, 132. So it's gonna be 132 grams on here. Let's get 132 grams. Perfect. Any excess water, we'll dump that. I'll wipe this one more time. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, check this out. The rice is only going to absorb the vinegar while it's hot. All right, now I'm gonna separate it a bit. Dang. All right, so we're gonna put it into a pile here. So now we're just going to slowly incorporate the sushi vinegar into the rice, making sure it gets to all the grains of rice, okay? And now we're going to cut the rice. And this is a technique that's sort of more difficult for beginners, I guess. So what you don't want to do, you don't want to crush the rice. You want to just fan everything out. You see little clumps of white like this right here? Just want to crush, just separate it lightly so everything can get coated. See, like a little ball like this. You want to just separate that. So every grain of rice gets vinegar. So now I'm thinking all the rice has vinegar. I'm gonna spread the rice out, and the rice has to be cooled down fast. It has a lot of surface area. It allows the rice to cool down fast. Now the vinegar is fully incorporated. We're just gonna let that sit just like this for just a few minutes so it cools down. Then we're gonna flip the rice one time and cool it down again, and that's it, we're done. So it's been a few minutes. I'm just gonna flip all the rice like this. All the vinegar is at the bottom. So now I'm flipping it so all the vinegar comes to the top and then goes back down. I think the biggest difference between homemade sushi and restaurant sushi comes down to the rice, which is oftentimes overlooked and people focus more about the fish. But most sushi chefs will tell you that the rice is more important than the fish. This feels perfect. It's not too sticky. It's not falling apart. You go to these, you get some cheap sushi from 7-Eleven or even Whole Foods or whatever. You'll see the rice grains all mushed together. You know, you can't really see the individual grains. So that's not good sushi rice. Some common questions that I get regarding cooking sushi rice. Most common one is probably, why is the rice so sticky? And that can be multiple things. So we started in the beginning, washing the rice very carefully. If you wash the rice too aggressively, you're going to end up breaking the grains of the rice. If you break the grains of the rice, that's going to release extra starch, and that will make your rice sticky. So that's one reason why it would be sticky. Another reason is like too much water. That could easily be the possibility. Another possibility is that when you are mixing the vinegar into the rice, you're either crushing the rice or doing it too aggressively. You don't want to crush the grains of the rice. You want to be gentle and almost fluff the rice. Okay, so those are probably some of the common reasons why your rice could be sticky. And I've gotten also a question, well, why is my rice not sticky? Why doesn't it, stick at all? So that's probably you're using the wrong kind of rice. Make sure you're using short grain rice. And if you really don't have short grain rice, and you can't find it, medium grain Japanese rice will work. It will be sticky enough, but short grain rice for sushi rice is the best. If you have any other questions regarding cooking sushi rice, put them in the comments below. I'll try to get back to you and answer your questions, all right? Hope you enjoyed the video and hope it was helpful, and hope that now you can make some really good sushi rice. I know some of the steps seem very unnecessary and kind of extra, but if you want the perfect rice, that's how you're gonna do it, all right? That's how we're gonna get it done. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy the video. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and next time on these sushi lessons that I've been doing, I'm gonna be doing how to make your own soy sauce, like house soy sauce, and how to make your own ponzu as well. We'll keep these how to sushi sort of videos, and I'll make the playlist for them too. And I've already made a how to make nigiri video, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. All right, guys. See you guys next time. Peace.